DallasCowboys.com.
Here is Pollard all the way in for 6.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Ben Erlinson, who'll navigate you through today's financial climate. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
A lot of things happening that show that football season is right around the corner. Big 12 Media Days for us the next 2 days in Arlington. And Cowboys training camp in 1 week at Oxnard, California. They fly in and start on the 21st. David Hellman, DallasCowboys.com, joins us on SicEm365 Radio. David, other than clothing, is there something specifically that you must take with you to Oxnard every year?
Other than clothing, not really, to be honest with you. Like, a nice thing about training camp is there's so much going on that I don't have a lot of time to do anything else. I guess maybe I usually try to bring a couple books and make myself feel like a smart, well-read person in my downtime, but other than that, not a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Do you sneak in one that might be like, oh, look, Great Expectations? I don't know how that got in here.
I mean, how many times have I brought a book that I never got close to finishing? Like every year, every single year. I'm like, this will finally be when I polish off some Dostoevsky, and it has not happened yet. Has not happened yet. I
you a little surprised at I know that this was coming, but the way the training camp schedule now falls after all this is there's far less going on there than there ever has been.
I was literally joking with my boss last week that I feel like I'm going to feel guilty about what I'm not doing. Because, I mean, you guys have been out there before. The schedule that we kept under Jason Garrett pretty much had you going, from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night Pacific time. And yeah, by the time you get off work, you maybe eat some dinner and, like I said, read a book before you pass out and do it all over again. But this year with these, 11 a.m. practices and, closing the walkthroughs in the afternoon, not to mention the limited access from COVID. Yeah, I feel like, starting around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's not going to be a whole lot going on, which is just the polar opposite of what I'm used to. So I'm sure I can find ways to stay busy, but I definitely feel like it's going to be weird. Does
that keep you from being able to even get more insight because of how they're going to have the schedule this year?
I honestly don't even know what to expect. I'm just grateful that I'm going. Obviously, that's not going to be the case for a lot of people. The number of people that are going to be allowed there at all is way down from a normal year. Members of our staff that usually go aren't going to be allowed. So I'm really just happy to be there. But yeah, I mean, as far as I have no idea what to expect in terms of how much access we'll have to the team, how much I'll see of the guys. Because I mean, in a normal training camp, it's pretty common to just bump into people walking to get food or working out in the morning. Maybe you'll share the gym with a coach or, run into a player on your way to get coffee. There's all sorts of ways that you can kind of manufacture access. And yeah, I don't know how much of that we'll have this year, but I'm definitely not going to complain given that I get to be one of the few people that does get to go.
David, do you find it weird that a good chunk of the football world is sleeping on Ezekiel Elliott right now?
Are they? Is that? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if sleeping is the way I would categorize that. I mean, I think Zeke is probably a better player than a lot of people want to give him credit for. But, what you did last year speaks for itself. Like the old Bill Parcells thing, your record is, it is what it says. Zeke Elliott led the league in fumbles among non-quarterbacks and struggled to be explosive last year. And I know that he didn't have a lot of help. I also know that he's on a $90 million contract. So I think that just kind of goes with the territory. You get that kind of money, you deserve all the criticism that comes with it, fair or unfair. And in my opinion, a lot of it's fair in Zeke's case. That doesn't mean that he can't bounce back this year. And I think that he will. But I don't think people are sleeping on him. I think people are going off of what they've seen the last year or two, and I think it's pretty valid criticism.
David, we talked about Hard Knocks last week, and they'll obviously spend a great deal of time on, Dak and kind of the obvious things. Who might not be an obvious choice that you think could be someone that fans really enjoy seeing, or a storyline perhaps during Hard Knocks?
I mean, for my money, I think Micah Parsons is probably going to steal this show in terms of, obviously there's already a lot of interest in the guy. He's a 12th overall pick. He's arguably the best defender in the draft. A lot of people expecting him to come in and not only boost the talent, but kind of turn around the culture of this defense. And from the little I know of Micah already, I think he's got the personality for it. I think, he's an engaging guy. He's a charming guy. He's not going to shy away from the spotlight or the TV cameras. And, if he doesn't have a few really good, one-liners over the course of this, 5 weeks or however many episodes, I'll be surprised. So he's already, I guess he's already kind of a household name among Cowboy fans because he's the first-round pick, but I bet it'll be even more so by the time training camp's over.
Is there somebody like a younger player, and one of the names I think of is CeeDee Lamb, who everyone expects to just continue to be explosive, but is there a younger player who last year was productive, whatever side of the ball, that you're worried about whether they can follow that up?
I think we've talked about this before, but I wonder, and I'm not trying to doubt the guy. I think Tyler Biotis has a bright future. I thought he played well when he was given his chances last year. Obviously, he won the Remington Trophy, which goes to the best center in college football. He's clearly a talented guy. I do think it's curious. The Cowboys seem to kind of have handed the keys to him. Joe Looney hasn't been signed anywhere, let alone in Dallas. And really the only other guys competing for that center job have never played it in the NFL. Connor McGovern played a year of center at Penn State, and Matt Farniok, the 7th-round draft pick out of Nebraska, he's played a little bit of center, but Tyler Biotis is the only guy on this roster that has played center in the NFL, and even that was only for 4 games last year. So I think that's curious that, the Cowboys kind of seem content that he's just their starter, whereas typically this is the time of year where you try to foster competition and bring out the best in guys. Like I said, doesn't mean Tyler Biotis isn't a good player, but I do think that's interesting that they seem good with him just being their day one option.
David, good luck, enjoy, and we hope to see you sometime that first week in August. I'm not sure when, but we're hoping to get out there for at least a small time once the calendar moves into August. Thanks for your time. Good luck, and we'll hopefully be able to keep talking to you throughout training camp. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, y'all.
David Hellman, DallasCowboys.com. When we come back, Baylor track and field coach Michael Ford and the possibility of a pretty special guest maybe sometime right after that involving Baylor athletics. This is SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home. Waco, Woodward, Hewitt, China Spring, Martin, and Hillsboro. Familiar faces making local decisions, here to help you, your family, and your business. Whether it's great times or tough times, all of us need a bank we can count on. Great people with great technology dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person or use their online and mobile apps, and convenient drive-through and ATMs at all locations. They've got products like the First Free Checking, and when we say free, we mean free. No minimum monthly balance, no monthly service charge, unlimited check writing, and unlimited debit card purchases. The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home.
Allen Samuels is celebrating Jeep Freedom Days. It's an